Alright guys, we're back again. This is going to be a video for you homeowners. Please, this is a tech tip so you guys don't get charged a lot. Look at all the stuff that I had to deal with just to replace this faucet. Just this different angle. Look how much stuff was underneath the vanity that I personally had to take out. Because if I would have let the homeowner take out, they would have took an hour and they would have got charged an arm and a leg. Which they're still going to get charged for me taking everything out. But homeowners, please, if you know the plumber's coming over and you're getting something replaced underneath the sink, take everything out. Make sure everything's cleared out for them. Make their job a little easier if you don't want to get charged extra. Anyhow, this is what we're here for today. We're going to replace the faucet. The trap, as you can see, here's a brass trap. It's all leaking, all green. And the two shutoff valves are not working. So we're going to replace those also. First thing you do, I go down, shut the water off to the house, drain the house while I start taking everything apart. First thing I do, try to clear out as much space as possible. Obviously, removing everything underneath the sink. And I just left half the body soap still in there because I just didn't want to take out any more stuff and I didn't have no more room. So I start cutting out the trap, the copper, to get some room so I could get underneath there and replace this faucet. So I took out the trap, used a little Hackzell Milwaukee, and I started taking out the pop-up. It was giving me a little trouble. That little nut didn't want to come out, so I almost had to use the Sawzall to cut out the pop-up. But look what I found. Nice little tree, a hairball, hair net, whatever you want to call it. A wig. I found that inside, like typical drain. When they call you, it's all slow. Majority of the times, that's where it is. It's all clogged up in the pop-up drain assembly. So I got it out. I didn't have to cut it, which made my life a little easier. And I start cleaning all that mess that's inside the sink, all clogged up. So once I get that all cleaned up, I go up to the top and start cleaning out the drain. Let me know, guys, for the pros out there watching, if you have any pros out there watching my channel, so you guys could criticize my work. I love the criticism. Just comment below. Do you guys clean all the porcelain or stainless whenever you do? You guys leave it nice and clean before installing the new fixture, the new faucet, the new pop-up? Let me know in the comment below. I like knowing what everybody does. So anyhow, once I clear that up, I start disconnecting the water lines. And look again, I have to remove more stuff because I need more room. So I took that out of the way and I start disconnecting the supply lines. Once I know the supply lines are disconnected, I take out usually the stem out of the valves so that way I could drain anything. In this case, I have to unsweat those valves, so it's a good thing to remove them. That way, if there's any water in there, it'll come out. So I got the Basin wrench, start taking out the supply lines. For this plastic nuts, I like using the RIDGID tool. I find it a lot better than using the Basin wrench, taking these plastic nuts for faucets. I'll leave it in the comment below there for you homeowners that want to buy this and try to tackle a faucet on your own. I'll leave links down there. So I pull out my favorite tool, the torch. I know a couple videos ago I had a couple people comment that why did I cut the copper when I'm going to install a valve, and they told me I should unsweat it. So in that case, there was no need to unsweat it because I had plenty of copper sticking out that I could cut the valve out and put a new compression. This is a perfect example why I need to use the torch here, because there's not enough copper sticking out of the wall. So if I cut the pipe, I won't have enough copper to do compression valves. So I had to unsweat the old ones, clean the copper real good inside and out, remove as much solder as possible, leave it nice and clean so I could install nice compression valves. If we need to replace it in the future, it's nice and easy. Just take the valve out and put a new one in. Don't have to use a torch. So I put new escutcheons on there and start tightening up the angle valves. I use this RIDGID tool. I think it's called like 2-in-1 wrench or something like that. I'll link in the description below too for you homeowners that want to tackle this project. And like you know, guys, I don't use quarter turn. I use multi-turn. Don't like the quarter turn, so that's what I use. Nice escutcheons, nice two valves, and here we go. This is another one. Pros, do you guys clean this up? Do you guys go to the extreme level and polish everything up, or you just clean whatever you can and then just slap the new faucet? In my case, I like going to pretty extreme. I like cleaning everything, polishing, make sure I can remove as much of the old buildup as possible, either hard water buildup or whatever it is, soap scum, you name it, toothpaste. I've seen everything. But I like cleaning it as much as possible because I don't want to install a nice new faucet and it doesn't look like nothing changed because it's all dirty all around. So I try to clean as much as possible, make the biggest difference on the homeowner's eyes. That way it looks nice and fresh. As you can see here, I cleaned it and I still see a little residue. So I'm going to go to the second shot. I'm going to try it again. Scrub a little more, try to remove as much as possible, and then I'll start installing the new faucet. But before I install the faucet, I'll make sure everything's at least clean underneath the faucet and in the area that I'm working in because I want it to look nice and clean and fresh. So once it's all clean, I get that Delta faucet and start installing that. I only recommend Delta to all my homeowners. I have good luck with them. I don't like Moen, Kohler, none of those. I stick with Delta. They've done good by me. Plumber Supply grade, not like Home Depot or Lowe's grade. So anyhow, I level it, make sure it's nice and square with the sink, with the drain, and then we go tying it up. Again, for the plastic nuts, I use the RIDGID tool, which has a lot of different options to tying up faucets. Take the Basin. Pretty much instead of using the Basin, you can use this RIDGID tool to tie up supply lines if you need to, and the plastic nut works real good. So in this case, with the Delta faucets, they come pre-supplied with the supply lines. I usually cut these supply lines to make them nice and short and custom fit. But some reason, the box was missing the plastic ferrules, and I didn't have any on my truck. So I had to leave them long, and don't like the look of it. But again, underneath this sink, there's so much stuff that you don't even see that. So anyhow, once I install the supply lines, I move on to the drain now, installing the pop-up. Pros out there, if you're still watching the video, let me know. Do you guys use silicone, putty? You guys use a different method? I use putty. I stick with putty pretty much majority of the time, unless it's like a real corroded sink or anything like that. I go with the silicone, but pretty much 95% of the time is all putty. So once I tighten the pop-up up, I mock up the trap, make sure that the tail piece is long enough. I tighten up that tail piece and I start adjusting the rod and putting the pop-up assembly in the pop-up. Once that's all set and I know I don't have to go underneath there, then I move on to the trap. Once I know the pop-up is all nice and tight, that's another pet peeve of mine too. Make sure the pop-up is working nice and smooth. I got into a lot of houses where plumbers just put the pop-up together and it's so hard, it's so stiff. Take your time, guys, and just adjust it correctly, up and down, sideways. Make sure the angle's appropriate. That way it's nice and smooth. So once I have that all adjusted, I start lining up the trap. And in this case, the trap, the center of the sink was so close to the center of the drain that I had to create a little offset with the trap. So I mocked everything up. I try to use a street 45 so it could be a little straighter, but it wasn't fitting. So I had to use a regular 45 with a street male. And as you can see, the trap is going to be swung out instead of going straight onto the drain. That's the only angle that I could make the drain work. It doesn't look awful, but I just don't like it. But that's the only option I had in this case. A lot better than was before, all that brass corroded and leaking. So I use an 1.5 inch tubular trap. I know a lot of towns or even states don't allow you to use tubular. Right here, you're allowed to use tubular on lavatories, not kitchen sinks. So once that's all tied up, I move on to testing everything. Guys, before you turn on the water, tip of the day, if you have a new faucet, take the aerator out. You don't want to turn the valve on and then open up the faucet to test it with the aerator on, because you'll be surprised how much buildup is inside the water lines. And all that's going to just clog up the new faucet. So take the aerator out, then open the faucet, let some water out, make sure there's no air in it, and all the debris comes out. You'll be surprised how much debris comes out on a new installation from all the water shut down. Whatever stuck inside the water lines will get caught in that aerator. Hopefully it doesn't get caught in the stems, but majority of the time it gets caught in the aerator. So take the aerator out, bleed the system, run it for a little while, install the aerator, and then fully test everything. Usually the way I test my sinks, make sure pop-up's working nice and smooth, and I fill up the sink 2 or 3 times all the way to the top, and I drain it 2 or 3 times, and then make sure nothing's leaking. And then I put also a paper towel underneath the trap, underneath the valves if you replace it, and make sure nothing's leaking. After that, we're good to go. Homeowner's happy. If you live in North Jersey, need some plumber work done, residential, commercial, let us know. See you on the next one. See ya.